She was throwing out the N word like she was spraying dollar bills at a drag brunch. It made her look like a founding father. She will brag to the other girls about the bare minimum. She'll be like, Zach said he liked me. You are a 30-year-old man doing a girth check with your guy friends. I'd never heard of a girth check before this. And now that I know what a girth check is, I don't feel the need to hear about it again. I think it is time that I address the elephant in the room, the elephant that has been consuming my life for the past month, maybe month and a half. I'm honestly not even sure at this point. I have zero concept of time because of this massive elephant that has entered my life. And that elephant is Love Island USA Season 8. Now, I was not a Love Island fan before this season. I'm not a fan of like the reality shows that are about finding love. I find them to be a little bit cringy. I don't want to hear people using baby voices toward each other. I don't want to hear about, oh, what do you like to do? Long walks on the beach and what's your dream day? Oh, I would just love to like go out to a restaurant. Most of the people who go on these love shows, I find, are kind of boring. They're like your average Joe that's kind of an NPC. You watch The Bachelorette, and the people are kind of just like that, what I just described, boring, pretty people. And I thought that would be the case for Love Island. And I was wrong. The second I started watching this show, I knew this is different. So I was not planning to watch. I remember I saw clips online from the previous season. There was a girl named Huda, I believe. Um, there was a girl named Alandria. I don't know much about it. What I do know is that it was a mess, but it still didn't sound like the kind of mess that I'd be into. Then this season 8 started, and somebody told me as it was going about this girl and give me 10, give me 10. Everyone was saying give me 10. And I had friends who were talking about this and saying, yeah, like she's crazy. And I watched the clip and I saw this girl named Melanie. She was asking for 10. And I said, I understand you. And now I'm tuned in every single week to see how far she goes. So, needless to say that Melanie is my bias, as if she were a K-pop idol. Melanie is my bias for season 8 of Love Island. This is the first season I watched, and I started in the second week right after Give Me 10 because I knew as a good journalist, people were talking about it. I was like, I need to see what this is all about. And I watched it, and yeah, Melanie kept me hooked for the whole time. And I realized so the thing about Love Island as I was watching, I don't like the challenges. I realized very early on the challenges are basically make out with your friend's man and grind on him. After the first challenge of that, I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't my cup of tea. And then the second challenge was make out with your friend's man and grind on him blindfolded. And I was like, yeah, I'm not into that. And then the next challenge was make out with your friend's man and grind on him and also suck on his toes. So I was like, okay, the challenges we can steer clear of. But the thing that really got me about this show is that the people on this cast are lunatics. And so today I wanted to go through every single person on this cast and put them in my ranking system. I like to think I'm a pretty good judge of character. So based on my perception of these people, I'm going to be ranking them. Now you might be asking, what is the ranking system? It's sort of like a tier list. I'm not going to be ranking them from my least favorite to most favorite because that's not as fun as putting these people that I don't know in categories that I think describe them as human beings sounds perfect. So, the categories are Top tier, Darling Angel Blessing. I feel like this explains itself, but this category is for those who did no wrong in my eyes. They were perfect in every way. They are angels, darling angel blessings, in fact. The category right below that, already at quite a step down, we're at cutie sweetie pie. This category is for the ones that you're cute. You might have had a moment that it made me go, I don't know about that. But for the most part, I liked you. I liked your presence. Below that, the drop off is real. We have no neutral categories here. The drop off goes from cutie sweetie pie to big beak bird. Now, to me, a big beak bird is somebody who does more stupid than they do smart. They're not cutie sweetie pies because their problems are a little too hard to ignore. They irritate me a little bit too much, and it's just like, I don't like you, I don't think. I don't think I like you. You have some strong moments, but the birdiness does not outweigh those few and far between strong moments. And then below that, we have stinky, smelly trash. This is where you aren't just stupid, you are getting on my nerves at this point. So this category is for the ones who I think are stinky, smelly trash. Pretty self-explanatory. And then, absolute bottom of the barrel, we have the category of evil, devil, goblin. If we have the angels on top, the devils have to be on the bottom. This category is for the people I think can't be redeemed in any way. At least with stinky, smelly trash, there's like a chance you could bump up. Evil, devil, goblin, you're stuck there for life. I'm sorry. So that is the lowest of the low. And then, because some of these people don't really fit into any of those categories, I made up 2 subcategories so you can put these on the side of the actual categories. We have Nothing Burger. These are obviously the people who I can't even form an opinion on because they're so boring. These are your bachelorette contestants, bachelor contestants. And then the other category I have is my sleep paralysis demon. This category is reserved for one person. The way I would explain this category is it's kind of, I can't explain why, but this person just makes me uncomfortable. They didn't do anything actively wrong. They just made me uncomfortable to a level that I see them in my nightmares. So we'll see who that is. But I want to go through these people in the order they were eliminated so I can save the main people for last. But to start us off was our first eliminated person, which was Sean. As I said, I started watching during the Give Me 10, so I didn't see much of Sean. I recall him being eliminated. I recall that he was a dad. People were really mad online that he left his child at home. But from what I'm gathering, these people make a lot of money being on this show. So to me, it's kind of like a work venture at that point. You're leaving your kid for a couple weeks, but you're going to have more money. So I don't really get why people were saying he was a bad dad for that. In my humble opinion, maybe he did something in the first few episodes that I did not watch, and he was like this amazing guy. He has to go in Nothing Burger. He gave me nothing the whole time. I was like, oh wow. Goodbye, Sean. I really don't have anything more to say about him. After Sean, we had Beatrice, and the problem I had with her was she just seemed like your average woman hater. She seemed like she was there not really to find men either, because she didn't seem very attracted to the men. At first I was like, I feel like this girl's a lesbian, but she said she's not, so we're gonna take her word for it. But yeah, she just never clicked with me, and obviously being a Melanie stan, seeing her argue with Melanie left a bad taste in my mouth. Her whole thing was that she was like a Paralympic athlete. She didn't have a leg. She's like the tough girl. And to me, I was kind of like, okay, she wanted to be on the challenge. She couldn't get on, so now she's on Love Island. Got it. Yeah, she just seemed to be there to want to kind of argue with people. It didn't seem like she was connecting with the girls as much as everyone else was. I'm not going to call her a nothing burger because she at least gave something to us. So I'm going to put Beatrice in. Honestly, she can be our first big beak bird. Welcome to the category Shake Your Tail Feathers. Following her, and I'll spoil this right now, he's going in the same category as her, is her couple in the villa, Gabrielle. Gabrielle, I forget his name. He was so boring to me, I didn't care about him. And the thing about him is it's also questionable whether or not he's gay. So I guess they could bond over that. I thought they were pretty cute together, but I didn't really feel chemistry between them. The fact that there are rumors about him hooking up with guys before he went on the show and then coming on here and then making out with all these different women. He got Beatrice voted out because he could not keep his tongue in his mouth. He was going and kissing all the girls. And the guys were so mad that the girls voted him off. And I don't get it because it was clearly the best option. He is going straight to Big Beak Bird along with Beatrice so they can enjoy each other's company there. Next up. At first, the show was good and fun. And then Soul came onto my screen and I realized that I had a sworn enemy that I would never meet. I disliked Soul very early on. She came in and I was like, okay, she seems cute enough. Like, I heard the term bombshell the first time. I was like, okay. In my mind, the bombshell should be like drop dead gorgeous. She kind of looks like a toddler wearing a powdered wig, but okay, maybe some people are into that. Maybe she will be able to find somebody. And she ended up finding that in Sincere. I was fine with it, even though she was going after my girl Melanie's man. It didn't bother me that she had chosen Sincere. What bothered me was that she came into the villa being like, I will steal anyone's man who I want to. And then the second she got pushed back on that, she started crying. One thing I cannot take is somebody who's going to have a victim mentality when they're the one causing the problems. I could tell almost immediately that Soul was not a girl's girl. And that's the worst thing to be, is not a girl's girl. She went in there, she was there for the men and the men only. You could tell she didn't really connect with the women, and honestly, she didn't connect with the men either. So she was in this place where she is getting pied in the face by everyone for a good reason, because based on those prompts, she was the one who needed to be chosen for them. And then she starts crying and says, I don't understand why they're treating me like this. What do you mean you don't? What do you not understand? You came in here, you made no effort to form a relationship with these girls, and you're wondering why they don't like you. And a lot of people loved her in the villa. And they said they were rooting for Soul. And I was kind of like, no, this girl is not good news. I can already tell. And then she just continued to annoy me until she eventually left, which I will say, Sincere was evil for what he said, pushing for Soul to leave, because that was ridiculous. He is in the most wrong, but Soul has fault too. And then after she left the villa, she proved why she is smelly, stinky trash. She went out, she was talking crap about all the girls, and I felt like I was justified in my initial reaction of her. And another thing, this has nothing to do with the way she acted, but something about her hair was just so off-putting to me. She only curled the front and then she like flattened the back out. It made her look like a founding father. It made her look like she was about to hop on that horse like Paul Revere, and she was going to go tell everyone the British were coming. It was not flattering hairstyle. I think the short hair could be cute, but just those like few curls in the front weren't doing it for me. So Soul is the first addition to our stinky, smelly trash category, and I think she deserves to be there. And I honestly think her and Sincere would have been a good match because neither of their names fit their personalities, which I think is so interesting. You have Soul, it's supposed to be sunshine, like light, and she was evil. She was the rain cloud of the villa until she left. So thank you for that, Soul. Then we get to the Casa girls who did not make it back from Casa, starting with the girl who did not even make it to the end of Casa, which was Alana. Now, she had to leave early because she likes to say the N-word. That was expected, honestly. She went in, and one thing I noticed about her right away was that she just had this evil aura about her. I think it was Parmita who asked her, like, oh, what do you go for school for? Because she said she went to film school, and Parmita asked, what are you studying? And she goes, film. And she goes, yeah, but like, what are you studying? Film school, film school. That gave me girl who doesn't actually know what film school is and is just there on her parents' dime, because saying you go to film school and you're studying film is like somebody asking you and saying it as if it's like obvious. You go to film school, I'm studying film, and acting in that way towards somebody just trying to ask you a question is kind of giving going to just like a normal public university and somebody asks you what you're studying and you say exploratory, undecided. Like, obviously you're going to film school. Film is something you can do there, but you can do a lot more. You can do like film editing, you can do script writing. There's a lot of things that go into film school that isn't just broad film. So it was a valid question, and the way she responded to it told me everything I needed to know about that girl. And then she started just letting the word fly. She was throwing out the N word like she was spraying dollar bills at a drag brunch. It was not shocking at all, but for that reason, poor Alana, Angel Girl, goes into Evil Devil Goblin, our first edition for the category. Congrats. Next, we have Sydney, and Sydney really didn't give me a whole lot, but I thought she was very beautiful and she seemed sweet, so I don't want to put her in Nothing Burger. I think that's unfair to her. She shouldn't have to sit with Sean like that. So I'm gonna put her in Cutie Sweetie Pie. I really have nothing to base this off of because she really wasn't shown at all, but she seemed nice. And then we have the Casa boys who didn't get to stay. Starting with Corey. Corey, for his short time there, seemed like a nice guy. He was trying his best to let Melanie see the light about Sincere. And the thing about Melanie is she just wasn't having it. She is a Scorpio, I found out. That makes a lot of sense because she was not turning her back. And maybe she should have, maybe she shouldn't have. But Corey tried to get her to see the light. And for that, he can go in Cutie Sweetie Pie. I didn't see enough of him to be able to put him any higher. I don't think he was necessarily a darling angel blessing, but yeah, Cutie Sweetie Pie. I kind of feel almost the same about Che. He didn't really give a lot. He seemed nice. He was trying to get Kata to see the light, which we will talk about Kata in a minute. I've got a lot to say about that. Yeah, he seemed more secure than Zach in himself, which should have been the sign to keep him, but he was not kept, and he will also go into Cutie Sweetie Pie along with Corey. Now, Ronnie. Ronnie is my sleep paralysis demon. And as I said, I don't know how to explain why I feel this way about him. He just, something about him is unsettling to me. I feel like if I woke up in the middle of the night in the heart of Appalachia, he would be hovering above me. I don't necessarily like that feeling. So he gets his own category. He is my sleep paralysis demon. So now we're getting to the people who were eliminated after returning from Casa. And we have Jen. So the thing about Jen is a lot of people are calling her a nothing burger. And I just don't see that. Jen was obviously not there to find love. Jen was there for a vacation. But the moment Jen really clicked for me was when the girls were watching the video of the boys at Casa, and then no boys showed up for them. And Jen said, "There's no boys here?" And I was like, okay, yeah, this girl wanted a girls trip. And you know what? She got it. And something about Jen, just the way that her big boobs were like too big for her swimsuit, and she was having a good time at every turn. I'm sorry, but she chose to bring a gay man back from Casa. Just shows Jen was there for a good time. She was not there trying to find her husband. And I think we need to just put more respect on Jen's name. Jen is a darling, lovely angel blessing. She is top tier for me. And yeah. Now, moving on to Jen's choice to bring back to the villa, we have Gal. Now, we shouldn't speculate on people's sexuality, but from my perspective, Gal is a gay man. And in my mind, he's the one who won't admit it, so he just chooses to terrorize women instead. He owns a coffee shop in Los Angeles. What are we doing here? His name, I know it's pronounced Gal, but his name is Gal. His name is Gal. You're telling me that's a straight man? Your name is Gal, G-A-L. Hey, Gal. Hey, Gal. You live in Los Angeles. You own a coffee shop. Yeah, he was a terror. He is going an evil devil goblin because of the way he treated Jen. I think that he was a monster. I think he secretly hates women because he knows that he's not attracted to them. And yeah, I think Gal is one of the worst people on the show. And then we have Amora. And I just think Amora was a sweetheart. I heard online either they're purposely casting a bunch of gay people on this show or they genuinely don't know. But I heard that she also might be a lesbian. Maybe I'm on the wrong side of TikTok, but people were saying she was just there to expose Sincere and get her check, get some followers, and leave. And to that, I respect. I'm going to put her in Cutie Sweetie Pie because we didn't see a whole lot of her, but she is kind of the epitome of a cutie sweetie pie. She didn't ruffle any feathers, any bird feathers, and she looked cute the whole time. Then we get to Caleb. And Caleb coming into the villa, I was worried. I saw a white country boy and I thought, okay, so he's going to be gone by next week when they come out with the receipts of what he's been acting like online and what he has said. And then he ended up staying. And I actually grew to like him. I think he was very honest with Kenzie in their relationship. And he kind of got burned by her. And you know it's bad when a woman is forcing me to take a man's side. But I think Caleb was a sweetheart. So for that reason, he's going to go in Cutie Sweetie Pie. Now, his Casa girl, however, Jaden, I thought her name was Judith for the longest time because I didn't see anything of her. She just like appeared randomly with her lip flip and didn't really say much. She was kind of just there. And then she got screen time in the last episode to kind of show why she was going to be leaving. And then we never saw anything from her again. I think she's the epitome of nothing burger. I don't know how you can say Jen is a nothing burger when Jaden, Judith, whatever her name was right there. She is a nothing burger. And then we have Parmita. So Parmita is a big beak bird. And I fear that it's obvious reasons. She used the Donald Trump excuse of like, oh, boys will be boys. That's locker room talk. Okay, girl. The only thing keeping her out of stinky, smelly trash for me is that, not that I think she's funny. I think it's fun to laugh at her. I think she's a joke. And to be stinky, smelly trash, I feel like you have to be a little more like evil. And she is just kind of the epitome of a bird to me. She's like not the sharpest tool in the shed. She says things that are just ridiculous. And yeah, bird, 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 bird. Now for Corbin. This is where I am going to probably get the most hate for. To me, I want to put Corbin in top tier, darling angel blessing, lovely angel blessing, because I, for some reason, love this man. I think he's so cute. He was very honest, and it seemed like he was very self-aware. And the whole like chat GPT thing, he's a robot. I thought it was funny. Hello, this is a smoothie. I wish I could dream like y'all. Like, who is this man? I found him to be very funny. The only thing people really had a problem with was that they thought he was a player. And to me, I'm kind of like, okay, but he was kind of honest about that from the beginning, no? He never pretended like he was this person that was coming in and like just riding it out. He wasn't the Bryce of the group, and he never pretended to be. So to me, Corbin was kind of like the best version of a man you could get. He was honest. The one slip up I will say he had is his comments about Kenzie when they went to Casa. But again, it wasn't nearly as bad as what KC was saying. He was just like, yeah, I'm done with Kenzie. Which, fair, she had already been playing in his face. He could have got sent home because of her. So why are we mad at him for when he gets the chance to get away from Kenzie being like, yeah, let me find someone else who isn't going around kissing this guy that looks nothing like me, this white man. I feel like Corbin was very justified. I know it's crazy to put him in the top tier, so I'm going to put him in just below that cutie sweetie pie just for that one comment about Kenzie. I think that was a little off, but everything other than that, Corbin, love him. Then we have Dylan. And again, Dylan is almost a nothing burger to me, if not for the fact that he's stuck around so long. I think he was sweet. A lot of people don't like him, and I don't know quite why people hate Dylan so much. I think people just really don't like the men that are kind of like honest about the way they're feeling. So that's interesting to me. But yeah, I would probably put Dylan in Cutie Sweetie Pie as well. I don't think he did anything to warrant him being top tier, but he didn't do anything bad either. So I feel like this is going to be yet another hot take. I don't like Kenzie at all. She's going into stinky, smelly trash. I just think that the way she went about things is fine. You're there, you're exploring, great. But then what got me was she's making out with Caleb and then getting mad that Corbin wanted to kiss Melanie. Are we not seeing the problem here? She is kissing everyone, and the second that it gets turned around on her, she's got a problem with it. I don't care if you're going around doing that, but you can't be mad at other people for doing that. So Kenzie is bottom tier for me. The only thing keeping her out of the very, very bottom is that her splits is so funny. I think the clam slam is like the signature of this season to me. The way that she did it when the boys went to Casa, her angry split versus her happy split, her excited split when Megan Thee Stallion walks in. The fact that you can tell her emotion by how she splits is incredible. So congratulations, Kenzie. You worked your way up from Evil Devil Goblin to Stinky Smelly Trash. Stinky Smelly Trash for KC. He could have gone into Evil Devil Goblin except for the fact that I think Anaya and him were able to work it out in the end. So I have to give him a little bit of credit there. The way he talked about her, he called her grandma because she didn't want to have sex with him in a bed surrounded by other people. And the other thing about him is that little smirk he did when Anaya was trying to tell him how she felt and he got that little smirk. I was like, This man cannot be trusted. That's evil. He can't help but hide his smile. He doesn't care about your feelings. You're sitting there almost in tears, and he's getting a little smirk on his face. Done. Done. And the fact that he got over to the casa and started just making out with everybody he could find, not a good look. I think he learned, at least a little bit, that he looked like a fool. So we're giving him credit there. But yeah. Now, Tiara, TT. TT's a hard one for me because when she walked in, I'm TT wanting to fight the girls. That kind of put her at the bottom of the barrel for me. But then it seemed like she was really stepping into her own. It seemed like she was getting along with the girls. And then she left and she reverted back to her old ways. So for now, we're going to put TT in stinky, smelly trash. I think, first of all, talking to Trinity like that was crazy. And I don't think she can actually fight. She was trying to step up to Trinity. I feel like TT is all talk, but she can't throw a punch. So TT is going in Big Beak Bird. Now I need to talk about Zach and Kata because Zach is an evil devil goblin and I hate him. He might be my least favorite on the show. I think he is worse than Casey. I think he's worse than Sincere. I think the fact that he lied about Alana, not like he would have chose her if he wanted to be with her, that's a blatant lie. And just his, oh, I love you, Kada. I love One Direction and I also love Bryce. His situation with Bryce is so weird to me. It's obvious that he has feelings for him, and it's obvious to me that Zach is deeply insecure with himself. The way he talks about like, oh, I bet Kata's loving on the guys at the Casa. They look like they have bigger muscles than me, and they probably have better teeth because they live in the United States. I can't. I cannot deal with Zach. I think he is an evil devil. He is an evil devil goblin in the way that there's not one specific thing that he did horribly wrong. It's just like the way he jokes like, I love you, Kada. Actually, I was only joking. I was only joking, mate. I was only joking. And just the way he would get mad at the girls and be like, I guess you guys won't get breakfast tomorrow, but I was only joking. Okay, why don't you save your jokes for the flight back home because you are an evil devil goblin. You are the worst of the worst. I just think Zach is terrible in every way. I'll be honest, I didn't like Kata from the beginning. I felt like there was a weird energy, a weird vibe going on with her. And then with the whole thing with Zach, she will brag to the other girls about the bare minimum. She'll be like, Zach said he liked me. And it's like, girl, I would hope he likes you. You've been together this whole time. You're making out. You've had sex in the hideaway or whatever that shit is called. And then the whole exclusive thing, I was like, okay. I was 100% off the Kata train when she is trying to argue on behalf of her man because he said, I want to be exclusive, but I don't want to say we're dating because I'm not ready to take that step yet. First of all, that means he lacks commitment. Same thing with he's like, oh, I'm feeling the L word, but I just don't think I can say it yet. If you are saying you're feeling the L word, that is no different than saying I love you. I'm sorry. The line that he draws with like, oh, I'm feeling the L word or I want to be exclusive. If you're exclusive, first of all of these people are in relationships together. They're sleeping in the same bed for weeks, spending every day together, kissing, doing all these things. I'm sorry, you're dating. You're dating. It's not that hard to say. I don't know why they refuse to say it, but the fact that Kato was trying to defend it and being like, I totally agree. I totally agree. Like, I want to be exclusive. Zach and I are exclusive. You look like a fool. And for that reason, Kata can walk her feathers and spread her wings in the big beak bird category. She is a mess. And I can tell from watching the show that she seems to be the type of person that she's a girl's girl so far as it doesn't come between her and her man. The second that Zach was like, I don't like Melanie, I know she would have been like, I totally agree. I totally agree. So for that reason, Kata has to go in Big Beak Bird. I can't put her lower with Zach because I want them to separate. And just another thing, when they showed like her friends at the end, did you notice anything about her friends? Like maybe the fact that they were all white and blonde? Yeah. And from New Hampshire? Yeah. I'll just say right now, Carl is the only man who gets to be in the Darling Angel Blessing category. I think Carl was amazing. He was a sweetheart. He is kind of the perfect man you could possibly ask for. I think the fact that he just seems so articulate and just like very proper and smart and like empathetic. He was not mad. You know, if it was Zach that did not get picked by Kata, you know he would have had it out for her the rest of the season. But the fact that he came back in and he's like, no, Anaya, I totally understand where you're coming from. That is a real man. And for that reason, he is the highest ranked man on my list. He should be on everybody's. That, if you had to choose anybody from this group, that is the one you want. I don't even care that he's not that cute. It At first when I saw him, I was like, this man looks old. But then we got to know him and I was like, wow. It really goes to show that personality can outweigh looks because seeing his personality made him so much more attractive. Carl is top tier. As for Anaya, I have to put her a little bit lower than Carl just due to the fact that it's not her fault, but she made a fool of herself choosing Casey. I feel like it should have been obvious that Casey was not the guy for her. She still chose him. She tried to stick it out for good reason, but she made a fool of herself. And I think the speech that she gave when Casey came back with TT was cinematic. We needed to cast this girl in every Hallmark movie from now on. It was truly one of the best moments of all time from reality television. But that combined with the fact that she was like riding so hard for Sincere when he was clearly like treating Melanie terribly, it bumps her down just that much. She's gonna go in Cutie Sweetie Pie. I don't think she's a bird, but yeah, she's not the angel blessing quite there yet. Now, Trinity, I also want to put in Cutie because I felt like a little bit of Trinity's like niceness was a little put on in response to the accusations of being mean from last season. I just felt like it was a little bit faked. So I'm going to put her in Cutie Sweetie Pie because I think she seems like a nice girl, but I can't help but shake the feeling that it's just a little bit fake. I don't really like her relationship with Bryce either. I know made me very mad that it was very clear that they were trying to edit Bryce and Trinity to be the winners from super early on. And I don't like being fed the narrative of who I should be voting for. Spoiler alert, I voted for Melanie and Sincere, not because I wanted them to win, but because I wanted Melanie to win. And I was not about to feed into the producers' hands. They were clearly editing them to win the show, and it just didn't sit right with me. So that brings Trinity down a little bit. Most of these things are out of her control. I understand that, but this is my opinion. Similarly with Bryce, he's going to go in the same category. I think for men, it's a little easier to be labeled higher up because the bar is so low. You have people like Casey and Sincere in here that literally just being slightly empathetic brings you up. And I think that's what Bryce was. He seemed very aware of like the social dynamics. I think it's probably because he is 30 years old that he has more life experience. But on the flip side of that, you are a 30-year-old man doing a girth check with your guy friends. I'd never heard of a girth check before this, and now that I know what a girth check is, I don't feel the need to hear about it again. But I just feel like if you are 30 years old, I don't know that you should be doing a girth check. I don't know that any age should be doing that, but especially not 30. Maybe this could be justified if you were a 16-year-old in the locker room at school. Maybe. But you are 30 years old doing a girth check with your friend. It doesn't sit right with me. He's still going to go on Cutie Sweetie Pie, but I'm watching you, Bryce. But while Bryce didn't quite make the top tier, you know who does? His grandma, Anne. Anne, you can go in Darling Angel Blessing because that woman was a gift. And I think that also does bump up Bryce a little bit. The fact that his family was like very sweet and funny and rootable. I think that shows that maybe he had a good upbringing. Maybe he actually is a good guy. Maybe his mom and grandma just didn't stick it to him that you can't be doing a girth check at 30. But, you know. So lastly is the couple that I voted to win Love Island that ultimately came in third place, Melanie and Sincere. As I said, Melanie was my stand from the beginning. I don't think I have to say much more. I feel like every person I've ranked so far, first of all, she's going in Darling Angel Blessing. I think she is the best one on the show. She was loyal to a fault. Her sister and mom coming in, it was really kind of sad to see, but I just honestly believe that she was the best of them all, and I wanted her to win. On the other hand, I was willing to go so far as to also let Sincere win in order for her to also win. So I think that says a lot. For Sincere, stinky, smelly trash. I don't think I can justify putting him lower than Casey, but I'll put them on the same level. I don't think he's the worst of the worst. I think he will at least be willing to recognize his faults, but that man, there's a lot of work to be done. A lot. Another thing I didn't like about Sincere, he was flexing in his confessionals every time, and it was so obvious to me. He'd pinch his arms together like this and like flex his muscles. That's giving insecure. So you're already insecure. You and Zach might be able to bond over that. His whole like this thing and always acting confused, he does remind me of a past relationship I was in. And it gave me PTSD. Honestly, watching it back, I was like, dang, those type of people will make you go insane because they don't even register their own lies as a lie. They think they're telling the truth when they're not. The whole thing with Amora, if we had more time, it would have been you. I genuinely believe that he was just saying that to be nice. But at the same time, it's like, how do we know where like, he didn't mean it this time, but he meant it this time. The thing with Soul, I just think, that man is going to drive her insane for as long as they're together. For that reason, he goes in stinky, smelly trash. But yeah, that is my ranking of all of the contestants on season 8 of Love Island USA. Like I said, this was my first season watching. It was such a blast to be able to watch these people and feel a little more normal. Sometimes you're like, oh, am I the problem? And then you see people who are really the problem and you're like, wow, maybe I'm doing all right in life. The voting system, people complain about it being rigged. I don't think it's rigged in the fact that they are literally rigging the votes, but the way they edit this show, it's just so heavy-handed who they want to win. Then the audience sees it and they're like, "Oh yeah, Trinity and Bryce are cute together. I love that 30-year-old girth check guy with that 22-year-old girl who's just actually looking for love, and he's like maybe looking for a throuple with this guy Zach from wherever he's from." It's overproduced. What I kind of wish is we had a contestant that was a little more strategic, like Big Brother Survivor. Like, I want them, when they get the chance to vote someone out, they vote based off of who is going to help them win. You know what I'm saying? I know it's supposed to be about finding love, but come on, like, if they happen to have a moment where somebody is single and vulnerable that is kind of a threat to win, like you can tell they're likable, get them out. I think it would make for a more interesting show, and then we wouldn't have to see the Trinity and Bryce thing drag on until they eventually win, which, in my opinion, it was way too obvious that they were going to win. But maybe I'm just bitter that Melanie did not win. But yeah, I enjoyed this show, and I'm happy it's over. I'm happy that I finally get to have my life back. And let me know your thoughts on these people if you watch Love Island. Let me know if you disagree with my opinions on any of them. I'm sure people will, especially Corbin and Kenzie and that grouping. This is true journalism right here, so you're welcome, and I hope to see you in the next one.